President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio seem to have tuned out Venezuelan and Cuban exile leaders, as well as their own rhetoric about blocking China's influence in the Americas. Hi, I'm Tim Padgett, WLRN's Americas editor, and this is Americas Decoded, my commentary on Latin America, the Caribbean, and their key relationship with the U.S. Let me know what you think, and subscribe to my Substack to receive my weekly commentary and new episodes of Americas Decoded. On Cuba, we may be staring at a disconnect between Marco and Miami, and on Venezuela, a schism between Donald and Doral. Along the way, we may also be witnessing the Trump administration's break with its quest to keep China, or at least its model, out of our hemisphere. First, Cuba, where a U.S. oil blockade has now forced the communist regime to negotiate new rights for its people. How could Cuban-American Secretary of State Marco Rubio, a Miami native, suggest that economic freedom is as important as political freedom in communist Cuba, and perhaps even a precursor to it? That doesn't exactly jibe with the sacred Cuban exile commandment that says, "Thou shalt never assert, under pain of being branded a business shill for the Cuban regime, that economic liberalization could be a means of undermining said regime." Legitimizing Cuba's private sector? Every duly ordained exile leader in Miami calls that blasphemy, sacrilege, and socialismo. Who to believe, Marco or Miami? Ditto Venezuela. How could Trump remove socialist dictator Nicolás Maduro, then leave Maduro's own brutal regime in power indefinitely as long as it helps U.S. companies tap its crude oil? That hardly squares with the sacred Venezuelan exile commandment that says, "Thou shalt honor Democratic opposition leader and Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Machado, call elections as soon as possible, and install her as Venezuela's new president." Trump has suggested it'll be years before democratic elections are held there. But every duly ordained exile leader in Doral, Florida, the U.S.'s largest Venezuelan enclave, considers that blasphemy, sacrilege, and socialismo. Who to believe, Donald or Doral?
Viva Venezuela y viva los Estados Unidos.
But there's another critical disconnect. For all the Trump administration's rhetoric about blocking China's influence in the Americas, both scenarios indulge in China's MO, its hybrid system of capitalism and authoritarianism. Getting Cuba to do the Beijing thing has always been difficult because Castro and compañeros are scared to death that a successful private sector could eat away at their political control. But that could happen now. Venezuela, though, is a different picture. The holdovers from Maduro's regime look just fine with burning their Marxist macroeconomics degrees and welcoming Yankee oil rigs as long as they get to stay in the Miraflores presidential palace. They seem much more simpatico with the China paradigm than Cuba's regime does, which is why Trump and Rubio should listen to the Doral exile doctrine. Yes, Venezuela needs stability before regime change happens. But if Trump wants to keep China disconnected from the hemisphere, it does no good to keep China's model connected to Venezuela.